What was the feedback as you guys kind of started this journey, going to your network and saying, here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of democratize the space, give people access.
The feed was, I don't understand what you're doing.
Okay.
And it's still it. And we still get that all the time, right? Because what we're doing hasn't been done before.
Right.
Right. So what do you mean I want to own? Yeah, I want to own a team. I can't own a team. I can't write a big enough check to own the team. Right. Well, we can write a big enough check for you. You're just a part of it. Right. Yeah. So this model that we've built exists in other industries, right? Real estate's a big one. You see all these companies raising capital from 1 million people to go buy an apartment complex, right? Same thing. We're just doing it in sports. The second thing is obviously with all the different verticals we've set up with the holdco as a C corp, we're essentially a firm that owns a bunch of different funds, and then trying to explain all the different funds, real estate, right? Sports tech, sports med, 220, evergreen fund, management co, explaining all of that. And then each one of those funds having their own parameters for investment and criteria and all this, that gets really, even with the most sophisticated investors, it's a mouthful. So we've actually spent a lot of time trying to just simplify what we're doing and trying to explain it as we're just a sports firm that is investing in sports opportunities, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get in, hey, we want to do real estate. Great, you can. Just in here, real estate's part of what we do and dumb it down that way. So that's been, I would argue, that's been the hardest part, is trying to explain to people what we do and understand that everything is as by the book as you could possibly get. Some people don't know what a 40 Act fund is. I'm glad you guys do. A lot of people don't. Yeah. So then we have to explain that, and they're like, "Oh, is this legal?" Yeah, this is the Wolf of Wall Street, right? So, so a lot of those, right? New fund managers, new structure, new access. Everything that we're doing is new. So then putting it all together and then presenting it to educated, sophisticated investors, and sometimes new is really exciting, but sometimes new comes with a lot of red flags, and it's overcoming those obstacles and red flags to be like, no, this is all by the book, legit, and all that. That's been, I would argue, probably our biggest obstacle.
Oddly enough, what Kyle said was pretty interesting. I was early on in our days designing this. I sat down with an investor and I said, what are the pain points that you're experiencing? He's like, oh my gosh, I hate a 20% tax on my money when it's my money and that's going right to the GP estates. Like, okay, what else? He's like, oh my gosh, if I have a 10-year lockup, it's completely liquid. He's like, I've borrowed against it. I need to do something different. And so then I explained what we do. And I'm like, it's the exact opposite. And he looked at me, goes, so how do you make money? You don't have a 2 and 20? And I told him again, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, I literally just gave you exactly what you said you don't like. And now you're still meeting the problem. So it's funny, you got to meet the market where it's at. But luckily, to Kyle's point again, is we're kind of on this precipice where the new things are coming. Like I'll say, kudos to a group like Arctos, which is a behemoth. And they've obviously opened up the sports asset class and buying into teams. And so people are now starting to pay attention to sports asset class. So the retail investors, the people who may be a little bit more gun shy, are now gung-ho to get in.